Of charge, meaning that there are entry barriers for the companies because there are the so-called listings or entry fees on other portals. But instead, our portal, also because of a decision made by Intesa Sanpaolo for this project years ago, this portal is entirely free of charge, so giving an opportunity to everybody to be present. So let me say, so if I am a wine seller or a winemaker of the Oltre region, so can I turn to you? You analyze the product, be it a product from Ballabio, Saffron of Poggi, the Riesling wines that we are going to try later on. Andrea is here. And so can we turn to you and in order to understand whether the product can be included, uploaded on the platform, so to benefit from a virtual window, so in addition to the classical promotion through supermarkets or wine shops. Yes, as a matter of fact, thanks to this partnership, everything is facilitated in terms of contacts and as a matter of fact, and this possibility is given in a very simple way. And in addition, when I talked about regions and territories, the marketplace allows focuses to be done on specific areas for the benefit of consumers. And in fact, we will also highlight, so develop a highlight on Oltre Pavese. So with the specific production, winemaking production, and so we wanted to promote this as well as other regions in our country. So this is it. But tell me something. So why this decision by Intesa Sanpaolo making this type of investment in this type of destination tourism? So this was not planned. This was not a planned question. No, this is a spontaneous question on my side. Okay, let me stand up because it's clear that this is a project that, of course, without passion, this could not be done. This passion is a prerequisite. Oh, I totally agree on this. Yes, we agreed on this, you're sure. So why a bank and a foundation decided to make such an investment, dedicating resources, both financial resources and also resources in terms of human capital? Well, the answer is very simple, because the Oltre Pavese is a winning territory which has values. So if you go there and you have the possibility of you have a possibility to find a house at a certain amount and closer to Milan at double the same amount, and in Alto Adige at a different amount. Well, you know, this Oltre Pavese is an opportunity, a vocational opportunity. It's a new business, and this is a business where the bank, together with the foundation, can create value for the territory, but also for the society at large. So, and of course, this is an area where to invest. So this was the initial idea to invest there. So we, of course, this is a profit-making concept, because Oltre Po Pavese can generate profits, and we start from a rather reduced level, low level, because because the Oltre Po Pavese is under the radar, as British people say. And but through the activities that we are developing, and I should thank Carlo Veronese, so the head of the consortium, who is here today together with us, and it's a great pleasure, because the territory is gathering initiatives and promoting them. So the idea is to enhance the value of the Oltre Po Pavese area, finding new initiatives to be promoted there, so that the bank can further develop and finance activities there, and we can develop a new model. So being a destination management organization, DMO. So Visit Garda, Visit Piedmont. So we have a private public capital. We are private and public capital entities, and therefore we wanted to promote Oltre Po Pavese, so that with everybody we can really start a collaboration, fruitful collaboration. And in addition to this, this is the Loisir of Milan, and somebody defined it Capalbio, very close to Milan. Well, yes, because we have castles, we have residences very close to Milan, 50 minutes far. So it's not possible to think that this would not be a economic opportunity, and we believe in this, both in terms of companies and in terms of opportunities. So a couple of figures. 40 DOC certified, 1,700 winemaking companies, 13,500 hectares of vineyards. And here we have other figures, 18 typical products recognized. So we are going to have Andrea's rice, Varzi salami, we have Poggi saffron, Cavanna cheese. So we have a varied ecosystem. We have 50 castles and residences. And we have the itineraries developing according to different types, so wellness, sports, enogastronomy, and religion. Very rapidly, this is the history of the foundation when it was established, Fondazione Banca del Monte di Lombardia, and then we have here the Intesa San Paolo umbrella, following the agricultural and zootechnic part, technical part, and so after an umbrella with agriculture being at the center, we can leverage the single territories and develop this model. So, of course, we have the localization of agribusiness, enhancing the value of made in Italy products. So, therefore, an enhancement of the territory, an enhancement of the value of the territory, and the banks can benefit from such a development. And the objectives, well, among the others, so creating coordination in the territory and also attract other investors from Italy and from abroad, so that we can see how Oltre Po Pavese, the Oltre Po Pavese area can become an investment area. So, in fact, the value per square meter is still low, so it's a big opportunity, and nevertheless, we have excellencies there that need to be discovered and are worth discovering, as a matter of fact. So the initiatives that we have already launched, and we have here our guest and our brother Marco Latif by Monitor Deloitte, who accompanied us along this journey. And our structure, our entity is very streamlined, so we have a very linear, simple structure, very focused and very precise. it was not worth enlarging too much the structure, and with Deloitte we could accelerate the whole process. And Marco, together with Manuel Pincetti, they are our coordinators. So to conclude, I wanted to share you some additional information. How did the process start? So through interviews, and we have also Federico Gordini, the founder of Milano Wine Week. We analyzed the points of strength and weaknesses of the territory. We have developed a matrix with focuses on wines and accommodation, and where we can also develop other services. And of course, we ended up with some discussions that we are going to share today. Each table is animated by some of the subjects that are together with us developing the individual vertical references for the enhancement of the territory. And I'm saying this, so I'm very quick here, because then we can also start the subsequent session, because the policy applied to the territory, to Pavia, and Giovanni Palli and the mayor Fracassi and the Lombardy region with Guidesi were all immediately very much interested in participating, and so we participated in a tender by the Italian Ministry of Tourism in order to promote a program for the installation, for the implementation of a marketplace, so that we can work on it together with the Comunità Montana and Salice Terme, the SRL, Engineer Caputi's NewCo, which is currently working a lot on the promotion of the territory of Salice Terme and the spa, the thermal baths located there. Did I answer your question? Yes, perfectly indeed. So the ideas are very clear. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite everybody, hoping that with regard to our project, I managed to steer your attention and curiosity. So come forward, because we have so many good products, we have so many capable producers, and so that we can contribute to this project effectively. So thank you, Luca. Thank you. So Roberto Lecchiancole from Casteggio e Marco Viglini, Ristorante Villanai Stradella, and the president of the Association of Tavole Oltre Po. So let's start. So here we have two guardians, let me say, of the territory, and who can really explain as ambassadors the importance of the territory. So we talked about food services and accommodation, be it Airbnb and services, hotellerie, etc. So we decided to focus on these two clusters based on the intention of generating an ecosystem. So let's imagine the territory as a subsoil linked to the great metropolis like Milan, Rome, etc. And we have the line of excellence of catering services. We have the blue line of hotellerie, and we cut this with tourist services, and we continue with other entities, getting closer to more qualified food product services with winemaking shops. So they are the two columns, metaphorically speaking, for the territory. Okay, so let me start with Marco Viglini, a Michelin star, Stradella, in the Oltre Pavese area, sometimes with the difficulty of communicating the importance of the territory. How did Tavolo Oltre Po started? Tavolo Oltre Po started off from a crazy individual who came to me and said, let's start this adventure. Who is he? Oh, you. Okay. And he's got the notes, and I have to talk, without any notes. In any case, the initiative, well, at the beginning we were a little bit reluctant because, in the area, many initiatives were designed, but not many then were developed concretely. But then the collaboration developed, and in fact we have 16 members, and in these last 2 days we had 2 calls from 2 cooks, and they were looking for a job, and after a couple of hours a job was offered. Up until some time ago this was not possible. So this is an association certified by a notary public, gathering 60 members who did not know each other. So, but how were they selected? So the selection process was, let's start from the 3-4 recognized restaurants, and we leave you the choice for the other selection of the other members to start the adventure. And the restaurants were selected based on the values, and of course, we have the starred restaurants, but also we have restaurants which are excellent. We should not name anybody because we should not forget all the others. So the excellence is not defined by the acknowledgement, but excellence is given by what you find in the restaurant when you go there. So the basic point for this group to be developed is combining people, gathering, letting people get together to enhance the value of the Oltre Pavese area, not only for the restaurants but also for the raw materials selected. So again, consistency. As a matter of fact, we have also developed a sort of book of specifications. Because to become a restaurant of Tavolo Oltre Po, this meant to respect specific requisites. So the identity of the guest. As a matter of fact, we have association of territory hosts. So in order to really enhance the importance of the bond with the territory, and also the menus talking about the identity of the territory, and of course the passion for the territory, which should not be neglected, which represents the heart, the true heart. So, and then we have different ramifications because we started communication, the events to be developed in Milan, training, education to be provided. So the next table will focus on. So we'll have the director of Santa Chiara and the dean of a high school. Why that? Because it is also very much important to provide education in the area so that we can also think of developing a purchase center. So, Marco, projects for the future? Next month we have 4 additional restaurants who are going to be part of the association, and on October 27th we are going to have this new vertical concept for restaurants in order to integrate everything. And with regard to this, so October the 27th, well, this is not the end of the world. To us, this is an important date because we're going to open the second table on hotellerie and on the world of accommodations. And this is the second table where we are going to also integrate restaurants in order to increase the number of tourists coming to the territory, visiting the territory, because maybe tourists come to the restaurants Villa Natico, Villa Nai, and we have Carlo Donati from Cantù who's going to prepare for us a risotto. So this is continuity, but of course this should not stay for just one day or half a day. We should work to extend the duration, and so also by increasing the availability of accommodations, we can increase the average amount of days spent by tourists in this territory. Roberto. So if I was the first crazy man, you're the second. So he's an entrepreneur, and he's an example of investment circularity, because you a Prima Altura resort combining the idea of accommodation together with wine and wine degustations. Can you talk about this, the importance of what you're going also to say on October the 27th, and why you fell in love with this territory? Well, my friends tell me that I have a fire going on I have a fire for igniting a new challenge. So I was born in Milan, and I got to 60, and I didn't know so much about the Oltre Pavese, but then I went there and I fell in love with it. And when you go there, I'm a Milanese, so I went to Franciacorta, Como, etc. But you always have the impression that the city is there, very close. Instead, Oltre Pavese gives you this different impression. There are the hills, and you see only the land, and this is wonderful. And I saw an opportunity because, of course, I'm an entrepreneur. And then you make a choice. Yes, and I saw a great opportunity there, both in winemaking as well as in accommodations. And there is a lot of room, and there is a possibility to create quality. So for example, for wine, we have the subsoil, we have the characteristics in terms of altitude, dry climate, because for Pinot Noir, this is difficult. So we have a history and we have a great chance to promote it. And so I've been now 13, 14 years in this sector, and I've been growing. And and I was traveling a lot with my other job, 200 days in a year, so I've seen so many locations. But what is beautiful there is that when you go there, you wanted to relax, you wanted to eat well, you wanted to drink well, and of course, if you can also buy certified products, this is good. And also, if you sleep in very silent locations, resorts, etc., this is even better. And this is for the good. And so we have, for this reason, created this resort, this destination. And to attract people, I used to say that the Oltre Pavese is like the idea of Portofino. So you mentioned Capalbio, but I want something more. So like a Portofino or that beautiful part of the Ligurian coast. So we have to take this opportunity, and thanks to COVID-19, proximity tourism has increased. And it's like San Pellegrino in the 20th century, Salice Terme. So at the beginning of the 20th century, people wanted to, go very close, but still having a chance to relax with no idea of factories all around. And this is what I wanted to share with you. Okay, thank you. So going on with this idea of the association, on the October 27th, we will define the needs of this sector, better roads, access roads, an agency who can work in order to also handle the tourism, because we have a problem. If you wanted to go from Brallo to Casteggio, there is no immediate transportation route. And we want a territory trademark, meaning in a larger sphere, and also in terms including accommodations, and a concept of hub to provide services. So identify needs, promote, offer services, and promote them so that the structures can cover their needs and their requirements. So this is our challenge, that together with Roberto and 20 other hotel owners and managers, we are going to open this month in order so that next week we are going to have another totem with another totem for the accommodation sector. Yes, we talked already, right? And so we have so many requests. We have received so many requests, but we have to orient them. So Matteo explained it technically, but in a few words, my idea is we should have a booking.com for the Oltre Pavese area. So if you wanted to have a winemaking experience, if you wanted to find accommodation, restaurants, etc., very focused on the area. So this is important. So we have a 360 degrees experience there. However, you mentioned Salice. So what's there? Salice Terme is a very ambitious project, and this is one of the vertical project to develop tourism in Oltre Po. And this has been a point of interest together with the President Federtermine, Massimo Caputi, and And the intention was, by Caputi's initiative, who was very bold in implementing this, we started relaunching the territory. So combining not only accommodations for tourists, but also the possibility of health services. So thermal baths are also granted a convention with the region, and Salice water is very healthy for healing skin diseases and other diseases. So Engineer Caputi is not here today, but we're collaborating with him, and we participated in the tender promoted by the Italian Ministry of Tourism to promote this. And sooner we are going also to receive funds as part of the PNRR plan, and we're going to have, together with Intesa San Paolo and dozens of hotel managers, we will have funds to modernate and refurbish locations. And again, Intesa San Paolo and Deloitte, our protecting angel, not only for the territory but also for the Intesa San Paolo group, we will manage the needs for assistance to receive the funds that are obviously indispensable to relaunch the territory. Okay, so thank you for participating. And let me say one additional thing. At the entrance of my wine resort, quality comes from daily attention and attention to details, dedication, passion for every day. And of course, we are paying attention to all the details. So thank you to you. Marco, you have to stay. Don't go away. So maybe we can put it here. So we are going to call to the podium our representatives from education, and I thank them. Rossana Di Gennaro, Dean of Carlo Porta, and Stefania Secchio, Director of the Istituto di Santa Chiara from Stradella. Take your seat, and thank you for coming. So I give you the microphones. And my question is, why do we have Marco here on the podium as well? Because some of the initiatives linked to education programs that we are promoting developed thanks to the association Tavole Oltre, which started establishing a dialogue with the educational entities, because we understood how much important it is to educate and train young people to concepts regarding food products, quality products, and quality wines. And so we have a territory and we have the Great Milan. And this is meant to share with you the fact that the bridge Milan and Oltre is essential. So we have to cement these two stronger columns so that the flow is direct, and of course education must be there. I cannot miss the territory and stay in Milan and vice versa, because only through reciprocity and only through teamwork we can be winners. And I would like to tell you that with Carlo Porta, we signed a letter of intent for collaboration with Marco Viglini, the head of the association Tavole Oltre. And starting from this aspect, so I would like to welcome you in the first place. And I would like to go through, in a certain way, what Carlo Porta and what the 2 points that I read in the letter of intent: ideation of work and school program at the restaurants of the restaurants of the association, restaurants that maybe can also develop a hotellerie side, and on the other side, development for the young people and the less young people and employees of activities and interventions in class by hosts and restaurant managers, so providing case studies to our young people who are broken down by different age brackets. So please. So first of all, thank you. So briefly, what is Carlo Porta? Carlo Porta at the moment is the main education hotel school in Milan, and we have annual collaborations also with the main entities like Scorpio. So it is the first hotel school in Milan with a high percentage of employed people that exceeds 70%, and this is a very high percentage of consistency. So education and job, so they're very pretty aligned, and this is something that entrepreneurs tell us, not only in Lombardy but also throughout Italy. So here we have some students, so Beatrice, Lucrezia and Enrica, so they are accompanying me today. And so our students are so much sought after for the kitchen, for the service, for reception, and especially for the hotellerie and for the restaurants. It is important to give our students, and I believe they represent a gem, a pearl, given the project that was presented this morning. These people, young people, need education, need to be trained, also going beyond the excellent 5-year education, so that they can have also direct contact to the entrepreneurs to find a job. And in the past years, and even more this year, we managed to implement a real project with the ITS, Istituti Tecnici Superiori. So this is nevertheless a sort of a parallel university courses, and not university but parallel, and so this is something that we have developed together with a multitude of companies. So these schools combine with companies, because a company managers, company owners bring their experience and share their experiences through their case studies with the students. So to enhance, so during this this journey, they can also develop a managerial career.
And I say that the dream of the students is to have a bar or a restaurant, or someone who tells us that they want to become managers of these large restaurants. And Rossana, this means that we have to thank Intesa San Paolo for the approach to young people inclusivity, which is fundamental. And that allows me to say something very important, because Carlo Porta is a Milan school, and that is reserved for post-diploma courses. And then we have the territory, because we go back with you, Rossana. But first of all, I'd like to say to go to our young people for oltre. Do they always have to travel all over Italy and the world, or can they have gain experience in oltre, or maybe go to Milan, but then if they go back to oltre, they can have interesting jobs? So Santa Chiara is the local school. So Stefania, you have the floor. So the Istituto Santa Chiara has, for 70 years has been present in Oltre Pavese. So certainly we are there to stay. We are part of the Tortona Diocese, and it has the schools in Tortona, Voghera and Stradella. In our center in Stradella, in our school in Stradella and Voghera, we have courses accredited with the Lombardy region. And therefore the courses are free for our students who participate with the 3-year courses after the middle school. Then the 4th year they have the professional diploma, and then they continue with higher education. There are many sectors. It's not just a catering school. It's so we are specialized also in other sectors, and so we have trade, commerce, electrics, thermohydraulics, well-being, and we would like to go back to work in Salice and the catering school in Stradella. We also have job services for young people and adults who are unemployed or underemployed, and also the continuous education program, always with the Lombardy region. We have about 2,000 people who come to our schools, not just for courses, but also for jobs, job support, and other programs for young people. We have also the GOL program funded with the PNRR for recruitment and also for fragile groups. As far as the catering school is concerned, next week we'll close our agreement with Santa Chiara so as to have a full coverage also in terms of age groups. Because we have young people who attend the 3-year course and then they continue. The catering school is in Stradella from 1st year to 4th year, about 100 students, plus a post-diploma EFTS course, which is a 2-year post-diploma group. And we also have a 1-year food and wine and tourism course. This year, the food and wine is ending, and here we have the consortio that is sponsoring and supporting us. Then the Distretto Vini, the Enoteca, then the municipalities of Proni, Stradella, the mountain community of Oltre, and all the restaurants who welcome our students from the 3-year course and also the post-diploma courses. I would like to say something, since you mentioned the regional Enoteca, which is in Broni, which is an outstanding investment of Regione Lombardia. And next to it, there is a space where I went, and I was dumbstruck because there are 45 rooms for students. There are 2 perfect Electrolux kitchens, and then we discussed with Stefania a lot, because that's a place that should restart. And this is the reason why we are organizing meetings with specialized operators and also from specialized schools to welcome and involve someone who can relaunch the school and then work with our local schools like Santa Chiara and Carlo Porta. Of course, we are open to any initiatives or any discussions also from other players. I see Antonio Seggioli also, who is representing Fondazione Ricca Gioia, and they are also very much focused on education. So also in this case, we have all what it takes and all the people who can be involved and work on training for the future. But I would like to hear from Marco, after we heard from Carlo Porta and from Santa Chiara. So what do you expect as president of Tavoli Oltre in the collaboration with the schools? So what are the things that we are developing with them? Well, certainly, it's well known to all of us. There is a shortage of staff, shortage of waiters and also cooks, and it has become almost impossible to find staff. However, luckily, we have the internships with schools. And of course, hoping that then these students decide to stay and believe in this. So, are you also professor? No, I do that. I teach at in my home. Our training activities this year will be even more in a sort of dual system, which is within the framework of Mission 5 of PNRR. So training happens at school, but also in companies, in restaurants, with a strategic interaction. So they come to the school for conferences, but also they train students in their companies with interns, with internships. We have 60 intern students who have an apprentice contract, and they are hired by the companies. So they study at school and, of course, at the companies as well. And so this is a strategy that, thanks to the Tavoli Oltre Association, we want to further reinforce, especially next year with the so-called FTS. Actually, you promised that. Oh, yes, I'm very much interested in this initiative because, raising interest among students about Michelin star chefs, sommeliers, and so on, can raise their expectations for the future. And this can be pretty helpful for us too, because now it's pretty hard to find staff for many different jobs, and therefore this project is very, very interesting. So having a close collaboration between companies and schools is, to me, very promising. And even though I happen to have students, such as recently one went to work as a commie at the Geranium Hospital restaurant in Copenhagen, and of course. I can pay him around 1,300 euros, whereas they get 2,500. So that's a big difference, of course, and so you have to let them go. Then one last comment. Since we were talking about sports tourism and recreational tourism, Rossano, you have an interesting master that is intended to train young people about on tourism, but also sports events. Yes, perhaps I can make a step backward and talk about what he said. That's true because, of course, entrepreneurs are desperate and they ask us to have especially waiters, and we should be able to clone them. And this tells a lot about the importance, not only for Carlo Porta, but also all the various companies. So it's important to profit from this occasion, because through these courses, we give especially our students to have a prospect for the future, which isn't just to work for 10, 15 years in important restaurants, but in these courses they can learn tools so as to continue their career also as managers, because when students go abroad, they do that not just to make more money, but also because they see more prospects for their career, which isn't still possible in Italy, unfortunately. And so think that the waiters, after 15, 20 years, they tend to lose their job or not to do that job anymore. And therefore, you have to ensure these people are long career and with prospects for the future. And we can do that if everyone commits around training, because I think this is one of the most valuable things we can do to give a boost to our tourism and economy as a whole. So this is one of the most important ingredients. So as to tourism and sports, we thought of some events like the Winter Olympics or other sports events, and we realized that there is a big gap in this field. So there is no staff specialized in welcoming students and in relation to tourist events, also for amateur events and also professional events. When I woke up this morning, I saw it was raining and there was the marathon. I said, okay, right day for a conference. And so there's a gap that needs to be filled, because sports tourism is developing quite a lot and growing, I guess, also in Oltre Pavese, with all the holiday farms can attract bikers, etc. Rosanna, I would like to leave the floor to Stefania, so that she can talk about the very popular sports, because we are famous for well-being, Salice, etc., and also Brallo with the tennis school and other important events which attract young people, be them sports people or not, and also biking. And also our wonderful Apennines is wonderful trekking itineraries like the Via del Sale, such that you can cross a wonderful area and even go down to the sea. And it's also very important that these hiking routes are maintained adequately. I'm very fond of this, and so I don't want to dwell on that too much. However, we are also part of this CAI association, so we promote the territory and also now with the e-bikes, and we bike quite a lot on our wonderful hills, and so we have the bike lane up to Varzi, and that still needs to be improved for signage, but it's pretty good. That takes you from Voghera to a beautiful bike lane to Varzi, and then you can go even beyond. Every now and then you need to have the recharge station, but we're getting there, and then you can stop for eating at restaurants. So thank you, Stefania. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Rossana.
So the last table, round table, which is going to be also the opening for the tasting. So the wine tasting round table. So Caro Saviotti, Matteo Rovati, and Caro Savielli come to the podium. And thank you for Carlos staying over there as president of our consortium. Okay, let me start. Let's start from the importance of enogastronomy and winemaking, the role of them in the Oltre region, a story which started with the first Duca Denari and Gaccia winemaking production, and which went along also with the thermal baths. So a comprehensive vocation in the territory, and we should not neglect that the territory was considered the lower part of Piedmont before it was defined as part of the Lombardy region. So we don't know the reason why our hectares cannot be enhanced in terms of value so that they come to the same level as the adjacent areas, winemaking areas. What should we do? Of course, we should find coordination, collaboration also of the institutions, and also the passion from young entrepreneurs like Mattia, who developed a new line. And reading his story, well, his story focuses on one single denomination, Pinot Noir, and of course, this is a very important vocational denomination in a large territory, including other massive denominations, massive because of the importance of the territory. And he's a young farmer and entrepreneur in the territory, and so it's a pleasure to give you the word to tell us the experience with regard to Pinot Noir and the winemaking production. Okay, thank you for inviting me. Just to explain to you briefly, because of the short time allotted to me, but so, well, okay. So if you're interested, we can also talk a little bit longer. In order to understand why we made this decision, I made this decision together with my family. So my father, a few years ago, inherited a historic company. It was established in 1905, so soon we are going to celebrate 150 years of activity that are our grandfathers, my grandparents, acquired, and a company which declined because of the demise of Giorgio Ballavio, the founder's son. My father was not a winemaker at that time, but my father thought, what is the only vine which can really allow us to make an excellent quality wine? Quality can also be given in a certain at a certain point, but needs to be continued over time. And Pinot Noir was the wine types that my father chose for this adventure, also because Ballabio was had been recognized for this type of wine. And so then the Anversa winemaking company, so many other stories started off from Pinot Noir because of this vocational approach. Territories in Italy, so in various parts of Italy, we have areas, we have specific characteristics, and these are very specific for Pinot Noir. So the identity is very strong if you work according to specific criteria. So we started from there based on our knowledge, and we did a very bold decision. So we focused on Pinot Noir and classical method. Why that? Both because we wanted to specialize understanding the details that could be improved over time in order to achieve a specific objective. Also thanks to the collaboration of Carlo Tavecchi, because otherwise, without his collaboration, we wouldn't have reached this point. And so we did this. We made this decision, Pinot Noir, classical method. I believe we are the only company having a specialization on this very specific product. But we sold the product only when we were fully convinced that we had a super quality product. And the sparkling wine base was excellent. And so we promoted our new brand, Ballabio and Farfalla, because this was the most important vine. And starting from there, we grew over time, and now we have 100,000 bottles, only Blanc de Noir, sold in Italy, across Italy. So this was our vision, and this was a very clear choice of ours, because based on our philosophy, this territory has many vines and wine types, and so therefore we only focused directly on our objective. So thank you for your contribution. Alberto Robati, a colleague participating in Colline Oltre, sommelier, and also friend, because we've been working a lot together day by day to working on our initiative. What are the needs of the Oltre Po Pavese region? And since you are passionate about the territory and you were born and grew up in the territory, what is your vision about enology in this, winemaking in this area? So Oltre Po Pavese is a wonderful area. It is my territory. And Oltre Po Pavese, you have to imagine 13,500 hectares, so the first winemaking area of the Lombardy region. 65% of the wines are produced there. And the flagship, as Mattia was saying, is the Pinot Noir. 3,500 hectares of Pinot Noir. And Oltre Po Pavese is the third largest winemaking area in the world for Pinot Noir. We produce 75% of these wines. So agriculture is fragmented with 1,300 farmers, and we need coordination and cohesion. But instead of from the quality perspective, well, I should say that this far-sighted idea of Pinot Noir classical method and DOCG, so an additional acknowledgement, well, we are on the 45th parallel. So of the greatest global winemaking areas like Bordeaux, Napa Valley, and we are exactly we have the same distance from the equator and the North Pole. So, for example, with regard to the sparkling wine, we can use the classical method that can and must become the sparkling wine for Milan. Okay, so with regard to the entrepreneurial policies applied to wine making in the territory, yes, of course. Also, we have very young winemakers, and especially in Italy, where actually the concept of young individual is very different. So So when I'm asked my age, I'm 49. You know, I'm not young. A young entrepreneur must be in the 20s because if we're talking about 40-year-old entrepreneurs, we are talking about a different type of approach in terms of management, in terms of approach to winemaking. So, but we have to start from not only youth entrepreneurship, but also women's entrepreneurship. So we have so many female entrepreneurs, the Pinot Noir ladies, distributed and participating to other events of the Milano Wine Week, and it's a pleasure to mention them as a demonstration of a territory of excellence, also thanks to their productions, Mazzolino, Travaglino, Frecciarossa, etc. And I could continue on with so many others. I like to mention them because I like to underline how women's entrepreneurship and youth entrepreneurship are two elements that Intesa Sanpaolo Group has always considered important to invest in. And so having a vocational territory in this respect is already something so much important. So then we have already seen other success studies like the Araldo case in Sicily for sustainability, which became a collector of collecting hub for Sicilian wines. So this is something that we can do in the Oltre Pavese region. We know that there are also some other denominations, and provided that we have a good, positive positioning strategy implemented for the country and also beyond the country, we will have the possibility to also have other, maybe minor denominations be enhanced in the value. So, Carlo Saviotti, I would like to hear your opinion, a wine consultant and also producer, so winemaker. Please talk about your Riesling, and so the word to you. So, the Oltre Pavese is an area that allows the cultivation of traditional vines and also international. So first of all, Pinot Noir and sparkling wine, classical method, and aged Pinot Noir, ranging among the first. The second most important wine is Bonarda, and classical Bonarda, which was very successful for consumption, the fourth best-selling wine in Italy. But our white wine that nobody considers is Riesling. And Riesling has always been a type of wine, somewhat sparkling, and it has been distributed more and more over time. And of course, Prosecco has gained over ground over Bonarda. No winemaker could overcome the barrier of the Prosecco. So this is very interesting what you said, but maybe more from a strategic perspective. We have a case in Italy, a study case in Italy, which is Prosecco. This is so Prosecco success story, managed by a territory of interest, and this was a marketing, developing communication wave which enabled these territories to gain a primary role. then of course the size and the turnover have grown so much that in some cases, of course, the tradition of the territory went a little bit lost, but the marketing action was extraordinary. So the question is, so maybe we can have our princess, Pinot Noir, the excellence. We also have an obligation to narrate the territory through the Bonarda, positioned in a certain way, so that it is recognized through. We can recognize the power and the importance in the territory, and then we should work also on the Riesling, as Carlo was saying, according to an approach that refers to the production of sparkling wine in terms of positioning compared to Pinot Noir. So this is marketing, and this is what we would like to bring to the territory, making available our competencies, Colline Oltre, Deloitte, and also other entities that we have involved, because we believe that together with the consortium and with our cantine sociali, we can work together. We can even work more than what we are currently doing. So we consider ourselves not really an element replacing something else, but as an accelerator of processes. And if we consider the stakeholders participating in the initiative, well, this is a great opportunity that we have to really ride the wave to enhance and promote the territory. So I made an overview with regard to our perspective, but I would like to understand from you. So you started 1 year ago, and what is your point of view with regard to Oltre Pavese, and what do you think the future will be like? So I found a territory which wants to get more and more engaged and to enhance its value. A territory that lacked cohesion. But this is clear, this is not a characteristic only of Oltre Pavese, but this is the positive and negative part of Italianity. So we have small and medium enterprises. At a certain point, we get rid of it. And if the system does not help us, then we do it ourselves. So the excess of this entrepreneurship transforms these subjects that only look at their individual part. So this is a common characteristic of the Italian system, but just a little is enough, because through qualification, competencies, and continuous work, people can come to our table, understand the opportunity to work together, playing their individual role without trespassing borders. But I believe that we have put seeds in the territory to generate an ecosystem based on dialogue. So we did it on accommodations, we will do it on hotellerie, we will do it with the other topics. So step after step, this is a territory with great complexities, but in 5 years, the Oltre Pavese, we will have the average hectare being worth more, where we're going to have invested capital by investors growing also in real estate, where the 18 castles located in the territory, so 18 castles, this is the number of castles I have visited and I'm working with, to reposition the structure. We have Vittorio Studios Peri architects in London, Rome, and Milan. We have H&S Hospitality, and we have a group of entities working on the various building sites. So, therefore, the enhancement of the territory and, of course, a humble approach, because this is daily work, and the patience. Well, all these are the ingredients that are necessary for the recipe to become winning. It's not just with a smile that you can reach the goal, but it's hard work. And this is a destination of great value for people from Milan, and not only that.
So Alberto is going to tell us what we are going to taste from our territory in the next few minutes. I'd like to thank the audience, our guests, the Carlo Porta students who have joined us, and it's a great pleasure to have them here. I'd like to ask Andrea, together with Alberto, so that they can tell us more about a product that Damiano Dorati, our chef from Tavole Oltre Cantu restaurant, will have us taste in a couple of minutes. Thank you all, and thank you for your attention. And welcome to Oltre. Very well, thank you, Matteo. Thank you. Here we have written food on Oltre, so pills from Oltre. So we're going to talk about food and wine pills from Oltre. This means talking about excellent products and excellent producers. Oltre isn't only about wine, but it's an area with truffles, apples, cheeses, salame di Varzi, which, for instance, has been the first regional salame acknowledged and already 33 years ago as an Italian denomination, and also as the European DOP. And so it's a special salame from Oltre. Gialtre Brera used to say that our province has the shape of a bunch of berries, of grapes. And we are in the midst of 3 regions. And of course, this cured meat, this salame, requires a specific temperature and air. And so the wind blowing from Liguria, from the sea, and that merges with the humidity of the Po Plain, is ideal to cure this salame. So the salame from Oltre, in particular salame di Varzi, is made in 15 communities in Alta Valle, Stafora. But it's an excellent cured meat because compared to our friends in Emilia-Romagna, in the area of Varzi, we use the noblest parts of the animal, of the pig. And so it's a bit more expensive, and you will have a chance to taste it. So you will have a chance to taste an excellent salame made by Salumificio Buscone, above Varzi. And also we have Mrs. Poggi, who makes saffron in the area of Montescano in Oltre, and of course rice that my friend Andrea Bianchi will describe as he selected special type of rice. But I leave the floor to him. However, before leaving the floor to Andrea, I would like to thank mythical Damiano Dorati from Cantu, who is cooking for us this Isos rice with Oltre Pavese saffron and salami paste. And then I will tell you more about the pairings with Metodo Classico Rosé, and so this Pinot Noir nuance together with this rice to pair it with a classical wine. What about wines, however? Well, wines, we will start off with a Metodo Classico rosé paired with the risotto. Then we will, and it's by Malti Arivella, Ballabio. Then we have Superiore rice. Superiore is a specific denomination that makes reference to the alcoholic degree and to the dry extract. So it's a landmark of quality, and it's from Cadel Santo Carlo Saviotti. And then we close with a Pinot Nero, an excellent Pinot Nero, which I call Monsieur Pinot Noir. Because in Oltre our French cousins all have excellent Pinot Noir. However, the European excellent can be Burgundy, but certainly in Italy it's Oltre. So with this red Pinot Noir, with a Burgundy clone, with the small red berry nuances, and to me, Pinot Noir is like Beethoven music, something superior, something outstanding. And Carlo Veronese, my friend, probably you agree with me. When you talk about Pinot Nero, you have a different charm and a different personality. Also, Roberto told me when you propose Pinot Nero, certainly people enjoy it very much. Now let's leave the floor to Damiano. Thank you very much. Good morning, one and all. I'm Damiano Lorati from Kafkan 2 in restaurant in Casteggio. Alberto has already told you which are the products which we have used for our risotto. And so saffron, salame paste, which is made with salame DOP. And it's mixed with some butter and parmesan. And what I would like to tell you and clarify that I decided to leave the three protagonists, rice, saffron, and salame paste, not mixed all together, but you will mix them yourselves, so that you'll have a chance to taste everything separately, and then mix everything together and enjoy the harmony of them, and so the harmony on the palate. So I think I'm eager to prepare the risotto. So see you later. Thank you very much. And the nice thing about this is that Marco, Roberto, Damiano, and Roberta Buscone from the company that makes salame are from Tavole Oltre. So we hope this association can grow and all the Colline Oltre players, because if we go in the same direction all together, we'll be very successful. Don't overboil the rice. It never overboils, don't worry. So, Daniano, I have to say that so you have in any case to tell more about your risotto. I will take care of the rice only. It's a great chance for me to talk about rice and risotto. So we have to talk about quality, because I've tried to make a quality product to stand out from the crowd and to stand out from this big group of producers and sellers of rice in all areas of the Pavia province. I'm a farmer. I have a farm in Spessa that is on the left bank of the Po River. So when I open my windows, I see the Oltre Po, because I'm right next to the Po River. This year, I pumped some Po River water to water my rice. So I was like in a sort of happy highland in the midst of a desert that was very much affected by the drought. Because, I mean, all those dry fields was very saddening. So back to rice. I've tried to stand out from the crowd, as I've said, and I worked with the genetists, and we decided to develop together a product which is a selection. Selection means that I've taken from raw rice from the fields, then we selected a specific gauge, a specific size, and then we process it in the peeling shop, and then there are 2 additional steps with an optic reader to eliminate all possible residues. Then in the end we get a selected rice with all the grains that are the same size. And I made this specific packaging. I called it riso di qualità, quality rice. So I tried to put it in a nice dress, because a good product needs to be put in a nice looking dress. Because rice is a sort of commodity, and so in the mind of people, rice is just a commodity and must be inexpensive, whereas this is a bit more expensive. What's the difference? I called it isos, which means the same, because all grains have the same size, and so they all cook at the same time, and they release the right quantity of starch that chefs need to prepare their dishes. And in addition to this, the added value of a product, such as for grapes or any other product, is the place where it's grown and where it's made. So the land that I have are particularly suitable for superfino rice. So rice variety superfino. So I know when to sow, I know when to fertilize, I know when to harvest. But the quality comes only from the land, from the soil. So now we can enjoy our rice with a nice wine, glass of Metodo Classico from our region. And so see you next year here at Milano Wine Week with an update. Thank you.
Quindi è finito?
Sì. Di sopra non sta succedendo niente. Cosa? 4, sì.
Esco.
Secondo me oggi io non faccio niente, però vabbè.
Tu devi star qua ancora?
In teoria ci sono 2 altre degustazioni, ma questa qui praticamente stamattina, visto che erano ha tirato fuori tutti i vini, cioè doveva farne un po' stamattina e poi le altre 2 degustazioni, però li ha tirati fuori tutti, non so. Pensato che sto qua e vedo cosa succede a fine, cioè quando si inizia il pomeriggio. No, ti dico parmigiani perché è bello. Allora, mi ha chiamato la settimana scorsa per 13, sempre il famoso dovuto 13 giorni. E insomma questo lavoro di moda, bene, cercare un po' di lavoro di moda, ho detto ok, le serve uno